It begins without sirens, without headlines, without panic. A man wakes up in the morning, reaches for his phone, and checks his bank account. The numbers are still there. Every digit untouched, every balance exactly as it was the night before. Nothing appears broken, nothing feels wrong. And yet, something has already changed. Because real power does not announce itself when it moves. It shifts quietly, beneath the surface, in systems too vast for the average person to observe, and too complex for most to question. It moves through policies, through algorithms, through decisions made in rooms you will never enter, shaping a reality you will be forced to live in. What if the world you think you understand is already gone? What if ownership, the very idea that you can possess something, control it, pass it on, has been slowly redefined, not by force, but by design? This is not a collapse story. There are no burning banks, no crashing markets, at least not on the surface. This is something far more sophisticated, a transition, a restructuring, a reset, a great reset. And like all resets, it doesn't destroy everything at once. It rewrites the rules quietly, until one day, you realize you're playing a completely different game, with the same pieces, on the same board, but under a new system of control. You won't notice it in a single moment. You'll feel it over time. When buying a home becomes harder than ever. When your money becomes more trackable, more programmable. When access replaces ownership, and convenience replaces freedom. And the most unsettling part, you may accept it, even welcome it, because the system won't present itself as control. It will present itself as progress. Safer, smarter, more efficient. But every system that promises efficiency must first reduce friction, and sometimes that friction is your freedom. So the question isn't whether the world is changing. It's already changed. The real question is, did anyone tell you? Look around. The markets still function, salaries still arrive, transactions still go through. On the surface, the global financial system appears stable, resilient, even strong. But stability in finance can be deceptive, because what you're seeing is not the system as it truly is. It's the system being held together. And at the center of this fragile stability is one of the most misunderstood forces in the modern economy: inflation. Inflation is often described simply as prices going up, but that description hides a far more complex and unsettling mechanism. At its core, inflation is not about prices. It's about the value of money itself. Imagine money as a ruler that measures everything you buy. If that ruler starts shrinking, even slightly, everything you measure appears larger. Prices rise not because items gain value, but because the unit you measure with loses it. Money is created digitally by central banks and financial institutions. When crises hit, governments inject more money into the system. This is monetary expansion, creating wealth out of nothing. If goods and services remain the same, but money increases dramatically, each dollar holds less power. Your purchasing power erodes. Silently, gradually, relentlessly. After 2020, trillions were injected into markets globally in record time. The immediate effect: markets stabilized, confidence returned, spending resumed. Yet beneath this apparent stability, pressure was building. Inflation moves like a slow, unstoppable wave, first inflating asset prices, stocks, real estate, investments, then, slowly, reaching everyday goods, food, fuel, housing. And when it does, the illusion begins to crack. Wages don't rise fast enough. Savings lose value. The middle class erodes. Yet people continue to trust the system. Why? Humans are wired to trust continuity. If something hasn't failed, we assume it won't. History tells a different story. Financial systems collapse not when chaos is visible, but when everything seems fine. Right before it is, in single quotes T. Every major shift in history shares a pattern. First, a problem. Then, a reaction. Finally, a solution. But the solution is never neutral. It is shaped by those who are prepared. Before the crisis even begins, fear enters, resistance disappears, uncertainty rises. People don't demand freedom. They demand stability. And in that moment, power becomes fluid. Transferable. Malleable. Crises don't just break systems. They open doors. The Great Depression created centralized control, regulations, and a new financial order. The 2008 financial crisis rewrote the rules of money, lending, and risk management. Governments injected liquidity. Interest rates fell to near zero. Precedents were established. When the system is threatened, intervention is guaranteed. This is where psychology becomes critical. When uncertainty rises, priorities shift. Freedom becomes secondary. Privacy, negotiable. Control, even external, begins to feel Acceptable. It's not manipulation. It's alignment. Fear creates compliance. Instability creates acceptance. Crisis creates opportunity. And the Great Reset emerges, introduced publicly, yet rarely understood. The Great Reset is not speculation. It is strategy. A plan conceived by leaders aware of systemic fragility, redefining capitalism from shareholder to stakeholder, aligning corporations, governments, and society in a controlled, interconnected framework, not destroying the system, reshaping it. Timing is everything. Introduced during instability, it is perceived as a solution. Introduced during stability, it would be questioned. Ownership has always been psychological. To own is to anchor yourself. To control your future. To say, this is mine. But the system is quietly redefining ownership. Streaming replaces possession. Subscriptions replace permanence. Access replaces control. Convenience replaces commitment. The shift is subtle, yet powerful. Access is easier to manage than ownership. Traceable, controllable, profitable. But what does this mean for the individual? Dependency, conditional participation. And the more the system moves this way, the more invisible the conditions become. Money evolves too, from cash to digital to programmable currencies. CBDCs allow rules to be embedded directly in money. Restrictions, expiration, conditional usage. Unlike Bitcoin, decentralized and limited, CBDCs are centralized, controlled, powerful, efficiency and control at the cost of autonomy. Every system benefits someone. Power consolidates. Institutions like BlackRock shape markets, influence policy, and acquire assets at discounted prices. During crises, wealth concentration rises. Ownership shifts upward. The system reorganizes, aligning efficiency with concentration. Control with scale. Influence with capital. The final layer is acceptance. Not forced, not imposed, but perceived as choice. Humans accept change framed as improvement. Convenience, security, efficiency. Behavioral design shapes perception. Fear, uncertainty, complexity. All are leveraged to normalize systemic transformation. Digital currencies, access-based economies, centralized systems are seen as inevitable progress. Consent is engineered. Choice is guided. Awareness is now your most powerful tool. Not control, not resistance. Awareness. Understand the system. Navigate deliberately. Strategically. With intention. Because by 2025, the layers are visible, the system is converging. Digital, centralized, access-based, controlled. Not yet complete, but unavoidable. And once fully integrated, you will not be forced to participate. You simply won't be able to function outside of it. The end game is structural. Inevitable. Silent. And only those who understand it will thrive. The Great Reset is here, not as a single event, not as a sudden collapse, but as a redefinition of the rules. System by system. Policy by policy. Decision by decision. Until one day, you wake up and realize you are already living in it. And the difference between those who prosper and those who struggle is not luck. It is awareness. It is understanding. It is seeing the game before you are forced to play it.